Hi, parents. My name is Boone Brown. I own the Ancient Ways Martial Arts Academy here in Bradenton, Florida, and it is back to school season. My kids are in about their third week of school here, but there's still probably chaos going on at home. And so I've got some tips for you that might help with your kids a little bit. I'm a father of two. My kids are 14 and 15, and they are straight A students in school and great martial artists and have a fantastic group of friends. I'm really proud of them. So I feel like that, along with my college education in elementary ed, probably have a little bit of advice that might help you out. So first and foremost, establish good routines at home and get everything ready every day. So here's what we did when the kids were little. And you can do this just by writing a list, depending on the age of your kids. We started off when our kids were like 4, when they were going to Montessori school, and we had a little magnetic whiteboard, and we would have little pictures of each of the items that they had to do, and in order they would move a magnet from one square to the next. And so there was a picture of them taking their shoes off, put them in a shoe rack. There was a picture of them getting their pajamas out. There was a picture of the bathtub. There was a picture of toothbrush. There was a picture of them laying their clothes out. There was a picture of their lunchbox. There was a picture of a book for reading time. And so they knew the routine. They would go move the magnet to the next thing. They could take their shoes off, move the magnet to laying their pajamas out, move the magnet to taking a bath, move the magnet to brushing their teeth, move the magnet to laying their school clothes out for the next day, move the magnet to making their lunch, move the magnet to reading time. And so having this structure in their lives at an early age made it really easy. It was kind of cool for my wife and I because we could just kind of sit back and watch it. It was like a little show. And children are empowered by structure like this. It makes them feel safe, makes them feel comfortable and confident. And now you don't have to do it like that. Your kids may be old enough to where that's not really going to work very well. So just do it as a list and put it on the refrigerator. But a little bit of advice: let your kid input on it a little bit. I mean, obviously your word is final. But at the end of the day, you are the parent, and they're going to have plenty of friends in their lives. You're not that. They're only going to have a couple of parents. Sometimes we have to be strong and lay down the law. But if you can get there, at least, okay, I agree to that schedule. Then later on down the line, it can help you through any headaches that might arise. All right, establish a morning routine. Primarily, guys, my biggest concern here is there's a lot of kids today that are getting some really bad eating habits. My kids, if given a choice, would eat donuts. And so, what I do is I try to meet them in the middle and say, okay, guys, you can't have that, and I know you don't want this, so let's meet in the middle. What can we do here? In the early days, they wanted some sugary cereal, and I wanted them to eat something healthy, some healthier cereal. And so I would sometimes mix it up and say, okay, you can have that provided I can mix this in there with it. If they didn't want to mix it, I would say, okay, you can eat that, but you got to eat half a bowl of this first. And so there's just be ready to compromise when they're younger. As they get older, I promise they begin to get actually really concerned about their diet because they know how much it affects their skin and their hair and everything else that's important to them. And so it becomes less of a problem. But the food that you give your child is the fuel for their car. And we want that car to run very high octane throughout the day so they're learning at their best capacity. All right, attitude is everything. Guys, one of my favorite schools here in town is Prine Elementary School, and Dr. Grimes established a routine years ago. He noticed the kids getting out of the car in a foul mood, and maybe they were just being yelled at by their parents for something they forgot or said or didn't do or did do or whatever. And it set the tone for the whole day. So he requires his staff, when the bell rings, to stand in the hall and greet every kid by name and give them a high five and a smile. And it just completely alters their day. And not just for the kids, but for the teachers too. I think it gets everybody in the right frame of mind. And so remind your child to go to school every day ready to focus and ready to listen. All right, great homework habits. Guys, as much as your kid wants to listen to music or thinks they can watch SpongeBob while doing homework, they can't. Okay, make sure their homework area is someplace quiet, someplace safe, someplace you can kind of halfway keep an eye on so they're not staring out the window or whatever. Remember, homework is your opportunity to keep your fingers on the pulse of how they're doing it at school. So be slightly involved in it, but try to let it be their thing. Another piece of advice I would give you, especially if you're in the state of Florida, they don't teach how to study very well, and homework is not studying. And so if you don't know how to study very well, I know I didn't until I was probably a sophomore in college. There's a lot of really good stuff on the internet anymore. YouTube is your friend on how to study, good study habits, and how to make it work for you. And it's not all that hard. It's just things that no one ever taught us. And so for my kids now, they're doing really, really well because of those study habits. All right, communicate with their teacher. Guys, teachers are smart. They didn't get where they are because they're stupid. Okay, they got there because they got a very high level degree. And in many cases, that what they have to do to become a teacher is amazing. A BS in elementary ed isn't a 60 credit hour coursework. It's 75 credit hour coursework with 3 internships. It's a lot more than most bachelor's degrees. And so keep in mind your teacher's been through a lot. They're very smart people, but they are not mind readers. And so if there's something unusual going on at home that may affect your child at school, make sure you let them know that. Also, make sure that you keep in touch with the teacher on how things are going on at school. They may have something that they've noticed that you need to be aware of. And if you have that open communication back and forth, you're going to do much better, and your child is too. It takes a village to raise a child, and they're a part of that. One last word of advice: if you don't like your child's teacher or one of their teachers, that's okay. I definitely have had teachers that my kids have had that I didn't like. But they never knew that. I keep that from my kids. I need for my child to respect the teacher even if I don't. Even if I think the teacher's life is a complete catastrophe. Even if I don't think that they're teaching the students, instead they're teaching the subject matter. I still am going to keep that to myself. My kids are old enough now where I could probably talk to them about it. But for the most part, I try to keep my opinions about the teachers to myself and do nothing but encourage my kids to listen better and be respectful and be responsible to their teachers. Speaking badly about the teachers in front of the kids makes the kid disrespect the teacher too, and now you have a catastrophe on your hands. All right, share at home. Don't ask your kid how was their day at school. Fine. Okay. Instead, ask them what was their favorite part of school. Ask them if they had anything unusual happen at school. Ask them if anybody said anything that really made them smile today at school. Or ask them, and also ask them for the bad things too. Did something bad happen at school today? Did anybody say anything that really bothered you? Guys, especially as they grow older, the teenagers, the doors of communication close. And so this is how we keep them open. Show interest in them. And I will say this again, you've probably heard me say it before, be easily in awe of your child. If they do anything right, make sure you let them know you're proud of them and you're pleased with that. If my son says, yeah, it was an okay day, there was this one kid who did such and such, I'm going to praise him right away for, Brandon, thanks for sharing that with me. That was really, really cool. I want to pray. I want to be easily in awe of him, and I want to keep those doors of communication open as long as I can. So, all right. Encourage positive relationships. Be highly supportive of their friendships with kids who have good character and good habits. And gently discourage relationships with kids who have a negative influence. Now, the word here is gently. This is an exercise in subtlety. There's been times when I've said to Brennan flat out, look, you're not allowed to communicate with that kid anymore or have anything to do with them. I am the parent. It's my job to make sure he's raised correctly. He is naive to the ways of the world, as are all of our kids. It's not just Brennan. And so I've got to make sure that I protect him. And sometimes I may lay down the law. For the most part, though, I'm going to be really subtle about it. And go, well, I usually try to spend time with people who use better language. And I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I usually try to spend time with people who use better language. Next thing you know, he's not hanging around a kid anymore. And so it works really, really well. All right, and establish a bedtime routine. Guys, my kids are 14 and 15, and we still go in their bedroom every night and tell them good night. It's not like we're tucking them in anymore. They're big kids, but they expect it, and it helps us too. I mean, at the end of the day, as a parent, my doors are locked, the lights are off, the kids are in bed, everybody's asleep, and I can sleep better knowing that I've done my job. And so it helps us as well as the kids. They know it's a part of their daily routine. Now, when they were younger, we made a mistake occasionally where we would end up like a tickle fight right before bed or whatever, and then they're not going to go to sleep. So my encouragement would be to make sure before bed, especially if you've got younger ones, sit down and read with them or tell them a story. It'll help get them quiet and ready to go to bed at night. It helps them set that schedule and get everything ready to go to sleep. So, all right, guys, so those are my tips. I've got another set of tips I'm going to be doing for you to share with your kids as well, but those are the ones for your whole household. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Ancient Ways Martial Arts Academy. My name again is Boone Brown. Our web address is www.awmaa.com. Thanks.